Hey, how's it going, guys? So we're back with another video. This is going to be more of kind of what I picked up in the last 2-3 weeks or so. I've seemed like I've been started to more bargain hunting, especially with books. This is going to be more of a book-heavy video. There's a couple 4K steelbooks and stuff like that I'm definitely going to leave, but that's going to be at the end of the video. We're going to go over the books first, and then we're going to kind of go over some of the pickups for the movies. I'm really excited about the movies. I've seen all of them. But it's awesome to revisit old movies, especially in 4K. So let's get into it. So we're going to go over a couple of these. So a lot of these I got from either the Dollar Tree, or not the Dollar Tree, I'm sorry, Goodwill, or I got these from Half Price Books. So a lot of the books from Goodwill, unfortunately, the stickers suck, and then they're sticking to the book. So some of them are left off, some of them I kind of been able to get off. We'll kind of go from there, but you guys don't care about stickers. So these first 4 books that I got were all from Goodwill. So they were originally, I think, like $2 or $3, and then for some reason, I guess they were having a sale or something. I don't really know why. I wasn't gonna question it, but everything rang up for 50 cents. So I'm never gonna pass that up. I want to get more into these authors, so I want to read more of them. So obviously, going to pick them up so I can read them. So first thing right here, The Longest Night. So basically what this is there's a Jewish crime boss or I think he might not be the boss, but he's definitely like a high up there in the crime family. He has to get out of the United States quick. So this is still going around World War II. So basically what happens is he gets pushed out into Europe and then basically becomes a resistance fighter against Nazis and all of that and the German army. So basically he has to kind of help save other Jewish prisoners and stuff like that. So it's a really cool story. I definitely want to get into it. But basically it's, resistance fighting against World War II Nazis. And I enjoy reading more about World War II and stuff like that. So books like this definitely pique my interest. So then next one's going to be Michael Crichton, which my brother really got me into him. Obviously he did Jurassic Park, Lost World. So anybody who is a fan of those is going to read those books regardless. But this one right here, Disclosure, obviously you can see the stupid sticker on the front, but this is more of a book. It's kind of like a espionage-ish kind of book. But basically this kind of goes into, guys working for a company. He's supposed to get promoted. His wife gets promoted in front of him. But there's some ulterior motives, and obviously stuff working against him. So he's trying to get information. He finds a kind of a trail up to what the company is doing, and obviously there's nefarious things that the company is doing and stuff like that. So this kind of goes more in depth with, stuff like that, behind the scenes with big companies, and it seems like that's still going on or always going on with big companies. So I want to read that, especially Michael Crichton. Another one right here, Sphere. By Michael Crichton. So this, I haven't gotten a lot of information about it, but basically, the overall synopsis of the story is they find a sphere-like ship down at the bottom of the ocean, and then basically it's a UFO, and then everything kind of builds off of that. So definitely, again, Michael Crichton, I really want to get in more of his stuff. I do have a couple other books too that I want to read, so it's really nice to pick up books for $1 because you're not really putting too much into it, or 50 cents really. You're not putting too much into it. So if the book's not great, hey, by all means, take it to Half Price Books, sell it, and they'll probably give you $1 or $2, but you're still making money back. I mean, yeah, it's 50 cents, but by all means. Next one right here, Journey into Darkness. So this is the sequel, I believe, of Mindhunters. Obviously, a lot of people, if you're into like the crime and all that, and Netflix actually did a show for that book called Mindhunters, and that show was amazing. I'm still upset that it's not coming back for a 3rd season. I know people are still kind of holding out for it, but I highly doubt it. Netflix already kind of put out a statement basically saying that it cost them too much per episode to keep putting that out, even though the show was amazing. And even a lot of the actors and stuff like that definitely want to, get back into it, and they're kind of hinting at that they want to, but I highly doubt Netflix. They're putting out 400 different movies every day, so it seems like. So they're not going to go back to something like that, even though a lot of people did like it. But basically, as you can see down here at the bottom, the whole kind of synopsis is basically just going more into the mind of the serial killer, stuff like that. That's what the first book did too. Obviously, if you've seen the show, it's more of their deep diving into what makes a serial killer a serial killer. Obviously, they weren't actually called serial killers until they got more in depth and did more research, and that's kind of what coined that phrase. But basically, they're doing interviews with serial killers and stuff like that. So obviously, I love the show. I love the first book, and I was trying to find this for a reasonable price. I like to find books and movies in person. It's just, if you collect if you collect movies or books or anything like that, it's really awesome to find the book in person. Yes, obviously, you can probably order it off of eBay for like $3 or $4, get free shipping, or same thing with Amazon, and get it the next day or two. But it's nice to go, because then obviously you're seeing other books. You're seeing, maybe I find another book by this author I didn't even know existed, and then I read into it, read the back of it. It looks interesting. Get it for $3 or $4. Read it. I like it. Cool. That gives me a whole nother experience of a book that I literally had no idea existed unless I went to that actual store. It sucks, because a lot of bookstores are definitely going down. I just actually had one not too far from me, open for 30 years, just closed down 3 weeks ago. That book place was great. It basically, you could buy the book, and then they had their little stamp on it, and basically when you can bring the book back, sell it back to them, and then use that credit to get another book. The guy was awesome. It sucks. Now you get basically Barnes & Noble and Amazon is the big key distributors of books, and Amazon usually gives you an okay price, but Barnes & Noble just seems like it's $20, $30 for every single book, no matter what. But I don't want to get on a rant. I already went down that rabbit hole. I got to come back from it. So the next two books are from Joe Hill. Obviously, he's got the Black Phone stories, and then obviously that movie's coming out, I think, in the next day or two. I'm actually going to see it here in probably about 4 or 5 hours, so I'm going to get a good review up on that. But I loved the Black Phone stories. It was a great book, and then these two are actually before that one. So the first one's Horns. But basically, kind of the gist of it is the guy wakes up one day, finds horns on his head, and then kind of the story ensues from there. I don't want to give too much away, but I've gotten a little bit into this one so far. Definitely really good so far. Basically, obviously, when it comes to revenge, the devil's in the details. That's a little tagline at the bottom. Great so far. We'll see how it ends, but I have trust. Stephen King's son. So far, I haven't been let down from him. And then this one right here, obviously it looks a little different, but it's Nosferatu. So if anybody's into horror, Nosferatu, obviously you know what the book's about. I haven't read this yet, but this was one. I got this, and then the other book that I have here, one of the other books that I have here, for basically a bargain price. Like, I bought this and I got this for like 50% off, and it was already lower price anyways because it's special value, I guess. But, I'm really excited to get into this. Apparently this one is better than the other two that I have. So I'm going to read the other one first, and then I'm going to get into this one because, again, Joe Hill, I've read a couple of his books so far, and I haven't been disappointed. So I'm just going to keep going down that rabbit hole as well. So the next one is Final Girls. So basically what this is a girl survives a mass killing. Basically, it's obviously, you think of a horror movie, Friday the 13th, that kind of vibe. Basically, people die around her. She's the final girl that lives. And then she basically gets into a support group with other people. Those people have also lived through tragedy. And then the information kind of gets around. They talk to each other. It's like basically a group meeting. And then kind of chaos ensues after that, especially kind of in the group and stuff like that. I haven't read everything. I read kind of more of the synopsis about this one. But one big thing that kind of drew me to this is Stephen King recommended this, and I feel like I'm a huge sucker for anything Stephen King. So if Stephen King recommends this, then I'm gonna read it. Obviously, I'm gonna read the Joe Hill stuff first, but and then another one. If you like the show Dexter, you're probably gonna like this next book. I've been trying to find all of the books in person. It seems that's a lot harder than I expected. But obviously this is Dexter's Dead, so this is the last book. I think there's 7 or 8 of them right now. Well, obviously not right now. He's dead. So, well, maybe. He might just, float and be a lumberjack, and then that's the next book. But yeah, this I'm really excited to read. Obviously it's the last book, but I got it for a really good price. I think it was like $3 or $4. So I'm trying to find all these. I read the first book, so I'm going to work my way down. I know some people said, you know, maybe the second or third or fourth book, it kind of gets away from Lindsay. But I'm a huge Dexter fan regardless, so I'm definitely going to read these. And then we'll get to the 4 movies. We're going to run through these pretty quick. Obviously, yes, more book heavy. But Broken Arrow, I really didn't even know this was on Blu-ray. I try and stay away from DVD just because they scratch easily. The picture quality is not always great, especially the older DVDs. So we'll see how the picture quality is for this one. But I mean, this is just a classic 90s action movie. Like, it's, you know, things blowing up, weird punchlines, John Travolta being insane, Christian Slater being the love interest. Like, it's just everything I just said literally is the 90s. This movie's, I love it. I watched it growing up. It may not be the best by any means. I'm sure it isn't. I'm sure other people are like, oh God, Broken Arrow sucks. But I love it. I love that movie. Another one that I just picked up, there was an MVD sales. This is actually done by Snaps Studios, so they're kind of a smaller horror-ish studio that releases a lot of different movies and stuff like that. But I can't believe it's taken me this long to get this. I've watched it already, or I've watched it before, but just desserts. Basically, this is just a making of Creepshow. If you love Creepshow, pick this up, watch it, buy it. This is amazing. It goes behind the scenes. There's interviews. It's literally, it's one of my favorite documentaries. I absolutely love it. I love Creepshow. I love Tom Savini. I love George Romero. I love Stephen King. So literally all of that rolled into one. I love all of it. So definitely 100% pick that up. The next 2 are kind of like a package deal. They're the same artwork and everything like that. But basically, you have these 2 right here. So Lawrence of Arabia. Obviously, the inside's not super, you know, it's just orange. But basically, you know, 4K. I think this was the 60th year anniversary. And then the Bridge Over River is 65 years. Yeah, right there. I mean, again, it's just plain. But the artwork's great. The picture quality is amazing. Lawrence of Arabia, literally, obviously, you're going to have film grain because of the 4K transfer against the camera negative and all that. But it's great. And then the Bridge Over River Kwai, if you've seen the movie, it's really good. It's a good World War II movie. I really enjoyed it. I think this was like my second or third time watching it. I watched it a while ago when I was on like a huge rabbit hole with, you know, watching World War II movies, reading. Obviously, I got the other book that has to do with World War II. But yeah, both picture quality is great. Obviously, you're gonna have the grain, but still, I mean, this is the best they're ever gonna look or ever looked. And I'm happy that Lawrence of Arabia actually came out in a solid 1 copy by itself or single copy, because right up here, that's the volume 2, but volume 1 of the Columbia Classics had Lawrence of Arabia in it, and unfortunately, I was dumb and I didn't buy it, and now it's reselling for like $300 to $600. It's kind of insane, but so luckily that movie came out. There's a couple other movies that I was kind of waiting for single releases because I wasn't sold on all of the movies. But I think Mr. Smith Goes to Washington is the next movie that I really want to pick up. I love that movie. It's so good. James Stewart is just amazing. But yeah, that's all I got. So what did you guys like? Did you like the 4Ks? Do you like the 90s cheese? Are you a big fan of Creepshow? What books did you like? Have you read any of those? Are you a big fan of any of those authors? Are you going to see the new Black Phone movie that's coming out this weekend? I'm extremely excited. So far, it apparently has really good reviews. It just looks really creepy and eerie. And then, like always, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification that we get notified that I make videos. We're trying to put these out every 3 to 4 days or so. I should have another director's cut coming up soon. We'll have the Black Phone review probably up before this video, maybe after. Just kind of depends on when I get that one filmed as well. But yeah, we'll keep these things going, and we'll see you guys later.